Mrs. A here with another story time. Today we'll be reading a book that is so special. It is called Tofu Takes Time, and it's written by Helen H with illustrations by Julie Jarema. And I love this book for so many reasons. I want to tell you a little bit about it before we get started. The first is that it's an intergenerational story. That means that there is a young girl in this story and a grandma, and they work together to make tofu. And I really enjoyed spending time with my grandma, and maybe you have a grandma or grandpa or an older person in your life who's really special to you. Another reason I really love this story is, as you'll see, it talks about all of the connections around our world. It talks about how nothing really happens on its own. Everything is related and connected in some way. And even when we do something as simple as cook a dinner, we have a lot of people to thank and a lot of different parts of our world to be appreciative of that made that meal or that dish happen. And so I love Tofu Takes Time, and I am thrilled to be able to share it with you. Thank you so much to Helen Wu, the author of this beautiful book, for allowing me to share it with you today. Let's get started. Tofu Takes Time. Tofu Takes Time by Helen H. Wu, illustrated by Julie Jarema. Today, I'm making tofu with Nene, all from scratch. Let's see if you are patient enough to make tofu, Nene says, rinsing soybeans in a big bowl. Plink, plink, plunk. That doesn't look like tofu, I say. It looks like seeds. You're right. Making tofu takes time, Nene says. And it takes seeds from soil, rain, and the sunshine. Here's one of those connections I was talking about. We need soil and the rain and the sunshine to help give us food. Nene blends the soybeans with water. Click, clack, whirr. Nene, is it ready yet? I ask. Not yet, Nene says. Remember that tofu takes time and patience. And it takes some water from river and creek. Do you see the connection from the last page to this one? We strain the soy milk through cheesecloth into a pot. Pitter, pitter, patter. It takes so long, I say. Why don't we buy tofu from the supermarket? Lynn, handmade tofu is good, and good things take time, Nene says in her gentle voice. Have you ever had to wait patiently for something? A lot of good things take time, just like Nene says. I wonder if you've experienced that too. And it takes cloth from thread and fiber. More connections. Nene turns on the heat and stirs slowly. A fresh, sweet smell fills my nose. Bubble, bobble, popple. Is it done? Is it done? Is it done? I ask. Be patient, Nene says. Tofu takes time. And it takes heat and metal from the sun and the earth. I squeeze some lemon juice into the pot. Drip, drop, plop. Can I taste it? I ask. I feel hungry. Look at how the soy milk curdles, Nene smiles. It takes time for the chunks to form. Have you ever cooked a special dish with somebody that you love? Did it go slower than you expected? Cooking takes time and patience and hard work. And it takes ingredients to dance together. I'm going to zoom in on that beautiful, whimsical illustration. Nene collects the curds into a special wooden box. I put a heavy stone on the cover. Squeeze, squash, squish! How much longer do I have to wait? I sigh. Nene says, the curds take time to mold into shape. And it takes some weight and space. Tick, tock, tick, tock. We wait and wait and wait. Can I have some now? I ask. I'm so hungry. Be patient, Nene says. Tofu takes a bit more time. And it takes books, some stories and pictures. This is one of my favorite pages. Have you ever been waiting for something and used a book or a story to help you pass the time, and then you ended up getting lost in the pictures or the words? See, now it looks like tofu, Nene exclaims. She takes the tofu out of the box and slices it into pieces. Then Nene puts tofu pieces, oil, soy sauce, and chopped green onions in a pan. Frizzle, sizzle, hiss. Finally, it's ready. I want a bite, I want a bite, I cry. Hold on a second, sweetie, Nene smiles. Can you help prepare the table? So close. Mama and Papa come home from work. Chit-chat, chit-chat. Soon we will sit around the table. I take a bite. Yummy! Crispy outside and tender inside. I gobble it up. Happiness fills my belly. This is delicious, Mama says. I helped Nene make it, I say proudly. You must have been so patient. Papa eats one piece of tofu, and another, and another. Homemade tofu is the best. I can't wait to make tofu again. It just takes some time together with Nene. And friends, at the end of our story here, we have some information about tofu, which is really fascinating to read. And we have a special note from the author that I wanted to share with you too. Let's read more about tofu. Tofu has been eaten in China for over 2,000 years. It has become a staple in many Asian countries, and the way it is made, how it tastes, and what people cook with it vary by region. The rest of the world was introduced to tofu in the early 1970s, thanks to the increased interest in Buddhism and vegetarian lifestyles. Tofu is very high in protein and low in fat, so it is as healthy as it is tasty. It is a sustainable source of protein. That means it can be made without harming our planet, and it is the perfect plant-based alternative to animal proteins. Today, tofu has transformed from a typical Asian ingredient to one that is used and enjoyed all over the world. Tofu comes in a few varieties based on density, ranging from silken to regular, firm and extra firm. Silken tofu is the softest type and is commonly used in soup. It easily blends into things like custards and creams. Regular tofu works well for a crumbly scramble. The firmer varieties can be fried, sautéed, or baked into a chewy, meat-like protein. And here's that special author's note I wanted to share with you. It says, this story's inspiration was born from my tofu making experiences with my grandma. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents in a small town in East China. Time after time, I sat by my grandma and watched her cooking, which included making tofu. She washed vegetables, chopped meat, stirred porridge, and cooked all the meals for the whole family. While cooking, my grandma always told me stories, which brought me to faraway places and times. After I moved to the US and had my own family, I began making tofu with my kids. They asked me a lot of questions about the process and all the tools we used. This reminded me of the sweet time I spent with my grandma in her small kitchen across the ocean. The story began to take shape. Researching tofu recipes from around the world opened my eyes to so many dishes I didn't know about before. Korean soft tofu stew, Vietnamese fried tofu with tomato sauce, tofu tacos, tofish and chips, Indian butter tofu, vegan tofu kebab, and Chinese mapo tofu, just to name a few. It's easy to see that people all around the world love tofu. It inspired me to try tofu in global flavors and learn about the culture and history behind the different foods. A simple dish can truly connect us with the rest of the world. Dear friends, what is your favorite dish? I can't wait to hear your stories. The end. I would love to know, just like Helen H. asked, what is your favorite dish? What is a meal that you like to make with your family or that's special to you? Maybe you can think of some connections the next time you make that meal. Think about the farmers that had to plant and tend and grow the vegetables. Or think about the people driving the trucks who helped bring part of that meal to you. Or think about the chefs or the cooks or the people who put it together and created that dish or that recipe. There are so many things that go into getting food to us in our refrigerators and at our tables. And even if we grow some of our own fruits and vegetables and eat some of the food that grows in our gardens, there are still a lot of people and a lot of different parts of nature that help make it happen. So I hope next time you are waiting patiently or impatiently for a meal, you think about all of the ways we're connected and all of the wonderful ways that things work together to help us get delicious food in our bellies. Thank you so much for listening to Tofu Takes Time. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that red subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you next time.